Okay, guys, hi. It's Mark Zicree, Mr. Sci-Fi, and we are doing our simulcast. So it should be another wonderful, fun evening. Let me get onto the unmute my audio. Hi, guys. Hello, everyone. Hello, team. Hi, can you hear us?
Yes.
Good, 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 good. And we'll put the volume up, and we'll do this, and we're ready to rock and roll. Life is good.
And I got you on Mr. Sci-Fi as well.
Yes,
So
yes, yes, yes. It's very exciting. And let's see. So Adam, do you want to go since there's only a few of us here?
Yeah, looks like it's gonna be a short evening.
It's going to be a very short evening.
Why don't we all close this down and meet at a bar somewhere?
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go.
Patties. I've heard they're really good.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. They are. Well, I mean, it's people will have to do something else with their time when we're no longer on the air, but we shall see. But we haven't decided that yet. So here we go. So so Adam, how are you doing? What do you need?
I'm doing good. I just got back from Sacramento.
Yay!
I took a trip up there for a couple days to visit family.
Mm-hmm.
I got to see my dad, my mom, my brother, and his family.
Great.
So that was really cool.
I'm here.
And I also recently auditioned for a Untitled HBO show.
Wow, that's great.
That's exciting. And I also was interviewed to be a possible contestant on Let's Make a Deal.
Wow, congratulations. Yeah. What would you dress up as?
I'm thinking of like a private eye with a trench coat and a fedora hat.
That's fun. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Get me a giant magnifying glass.
Yes. That's fun. That'd be really fun. So
you always ended up asking people for a hard-boiled egg. You should go as a hard-boiled egg.
A hard-boiled egg. That's pretty funny. That's very funny.
You'll have one in your purse, right?
Yeah.
Right?
That's very funny. So anything you need, Adam? Any questions?
Nothing right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna be starting another thing. Of course, I'm gonna be starting scare acting next week with the Los Angeles Haunted Hayride.
Yes.
And of course, my podcast Inside Animation continues.
Cool.
And we have another episode scheduled for next Monday. So
great.
That's great. You're getting a lot of work and auditions.
Yes.
How much is through representatives, and how much is just for you?
Doing it.
About half of the ones I mentioned, half.
Wow.
Good.
Great.
So the Untitled HBO thing was from my agent.
That's great.
And the Let's Make a Deal, obviously.
You should be teaching a class, Adam.
We should.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes, it could be called How to Be Me.
Yeah.
It's called Mostly Luck.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
And a lot of preparation.
Yes. It'd be funny to have a class titled "I Don't Know What I'm Doing."
I don't know what I'm doing, but
I don't know how it works.
Yes.
A quote from the Wizard of Oz.
Yes. Well, it's I just sent off the final manuscript of Greenlighting Yourself to my editor yesterday, and so it's it'll be out at the top of the year. So it was pretty interesting to revisit the material and. Seems to make sense. We'll find out. So, So anything else, Adam?
No, that's me.
Wow! Yay! 3 cheers! Excellent. So, is there a Mr. Sci-Fi question yet?
We do have a Mr. Sci-Fi question.
Great.
Fit to be read.
Yay! Hi.
Who asks, what are your thoughts of folks expecting movie adaptations to be true to the book and perhaps overboard disappointment? The director is not making a literal translation.
Well, it's interesting because I've had the job of adapting books into scripts at various times in my career, and it depends. It depends on how cinematic or visual the book is. A lot of books tend to be very inward turned, inside the character's head, inside the character's feelings, and those are the hardest to adapt because there aren't a lot of actions happening. The reality is. The book always exists. You know, a number of my friends are authors, and when they've been asked the question, well, what about this movie that was made of your book and it sucked? They say, well, you know, the book isn't harmed. You know, Ray Bradbury used to say that about, you know, his books. You know, it's like, if there's a bad adaptation, well, you know, onward. They can go read the book, and the book is great. That doesn't change it. Now, there are great adaptations of books, such as To Kill a Mockingbird, Horton Foote's terrific adaptation, and there's also, you know, there are also adaptations that are very different from the book, like Blade Runner. Tonally is totally different from Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. They're both great, but very, very different, and but they both work in their individual media. So it's case by case. You know, the main thing about any adaptation is the movie has to work on its own terms, because if it's a faithful adaptation but still doesn't work, then it's failed. On the other hand, if it's an adaptation that works as a film, you know, I mean, you want to honor the source material as best you can, but you can never honor to the degree that you fail in the art form that you're working in. So, you know, so there's always that stuff. So cool. So, okay. So let's see. So I see that Lori has joined us. Lori, do you want to take your turn?
Hi, guys. I'm new to the group.
Great.
My name is Lori Morsi. I was invited by Gerard Sanders. He can't make it. He's working.
Cool.
He just told me this was a great group to be a part of.
Yes.
And I direct and produce and write. So obviously I'm looking for talent as well.
Great.
Because I do one every year. I've only done two, so I'm new. So 2022 will be the third one.
So when you say are those features that you're talking about?
I wish there's short films
okay.
I get to do put in film festivals.
I see. Well, here's several things about this. Normally, before the pandemic, of course, we met at a restaurant in the Valley. We're going to be meeting at Patty's again once all this stuff settles down a bit. The table is made up of thousands of members. We've been running for 28 years, and we have members all over the world. And once you come to a meeting in person, in quotes, via Zoom, then you can get onto the email, and you can send one email out to all several thousand and also get their requests. And it's a very powerful tool. So David Bartlett, who's the one in the brown hair and looks like a pink shirt, because he's very...
I know his name.
Yeah.
I've heard his name.
Lavender.
Yeah, Lavender. Well, you're very secure in your manhood. And the but we also are doing a simulcast with my YouTube channel, which is Mr. Sci-Fi. We're Mark and Elaine. We started the table and run it, and we are writer, producer, directors, hundreds of hours of network TV credits, best-selling books, all sorts of stuff.
Run. It's egalitarian.
Yep.
You know, we just have certain precepts like free. Nobody has a handout.
There's no membership dues or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, Lori, I have a question for you. Well, here, first of all, a piece of advice. When you make shorts, start to look at how you can link them thematically or in some other way to form a feature. And a way to do that, for instance, is like a movie like Crash is parallel stories all set in the same city, but interwoven. And so by doing that, you don't have to bite off as big a piece as a feature in one fell swoop, but by putting them all together thematically, you can earn more money, because features can generate more revenue. So that's just a suggestion.
No, I love it. I love it.
And,
awesome.
And do you have any questions or anything you need right now?
Not yet. You know, I'm just getting adapted to how this moves and goes. I've heard about it. A couple of years I heard about it. So I'm just excited I can make the time to tune in and listen and be a part of it.
Yeah, well, you're always welcome. We're here every Thursday, but once you come to one meeting via Zoom, then you can be on the email and you can attend as much as you want or as little as you want and still utilize all the other things.
I'm sure if you know, once you're on the email, you can just put out the word for actors.
Yeah, and the group is writers, directors, actors, producers, sound guys, anyone in the game. And our credo is just to be mutually supportive and compassionate and positive, and no one is required to help anyone, but we encourage people to help each other. So that's sort of the thing of it. So but the right now, what's interesting right now is the strange time where so many people are stuck at home. So many people are trying to find ways to connect with others, and and fitfully they're coming out into the physical world. But it's we're all learning as we go. So anything else for now? Any other questions or anything?
I can't think of anything right now, but if I do, I'll chime in.
Great. Well, 3 cheers. Welcome. Yay. So, so Adam, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes, we have another question from Fit to be Read.
Hello.
Which is, why is no one making a Tiger movie?
You mean Tiger? You mean as in The Star's My Destination? I guess that's probably what you're referencing.
So, yeah.
Alfred Bester wrote a novel that was called Tiger in England, and The Star's My Destination here in America. And they've tried for years and years and years to make a feature of that. It's extremely difficult. And it was a revolutionary novel in science fiction. It had a very sort of anti-hero main character. My friend Glenn Mazzara was hired at one point to see about adapting it, and just it's hard. It's a hard one, but eventually someone will do it, and it'll either be good or bad or somewhere in between. And but that's the answer to that. So let's see. So so Galinda, I see you on the screen. Do you want to check in?
Sure. Thank you very much. Great to be here. I'm Galinda. I'm in Texas. Today I am apparently just cat lady. I love that Meatball likes his face on camera. I think he's going to be a lot of fun to pop up in odd places in any videos I do. It's been a very normal week, busy work, and my roommates are moving, so I am going to be looking for a place here in a few months. So that gets a little exciting. And I got myself into a little bit of project. I get to go play Crazy Space Hippie. Sometime this next week.
That's fun.
A lady posted on our neighborhood Facebook page that her daughter had lost this little toy called a Puggler. It's an ugly purple monster with human teeth. And she was pretty broken up about losing him. His name is Cooper. And she was trying to find one on eBay, and I managed to find one online, and I snagged it. It's here tomorrow.
That's great.
And I'm going to go around in my spacesuit to take pictures of him in local places, and then start posting it around on the Facebook page about his little journey around our city. And then I'm gonna put him up against my screen and take pictures of him on Mars, and we're kind of scatting around the universe and having a good time.
What kind of dog did you say? What kind?
It's a toy. It's called a Puggler. It's supposed to be a funny, ugly monster.
Okay. Cool.
And yeah, I mean, I looked into it because apparently this particular color, of that particular one is hard to find. They were really popular, and so I get to be my philanthropic self and have a good time doing it and be theatrical about it.
Cool.
It would feel like a superhero.
I need it. Okay. Oh, it's great. So anything else? Anything else you need?
No, that's it. I just want to share. I'm really excited. I'm kind of giddy because this is going to be a lot of fun.
That's fun. Yes, absolutely. Well, 3 cheers. Yay. If you need to walk the dog, you can, Elaine, but So, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam?
No, I think we're all caught up for now.
Okay. Well, in terms of space hippies, if you want to see the best space hippies ever, there's an original episode of Star Trek called The Way to Eden. And those space hippies are... they're definitely memorable. So so that's worth checking out. So I guess Dave Edison, do you want to take your turn? I see you on screen.
Sure. Hi everyone. I'm Dave Edison here. I think we got a few people over on Mr. Sci-Fi. Hi there, folks. We're working on Space Command. I'm the editor of Space Command, Mark and Elaine's big, giant, ambitious, independent TV show pilot. And
oh, yikes! Someone has. Wow, is that you, David? Yikes! Everyone, if it's not your turn, make sure you're muted.
Pardon me. Must have been something I ate. Hello. Lovely glass of Lipton tea with strawberry jam sweetener. So try that sometime. Anyway, so we're racing toward getting the second hour completed, and we're getting more VFX shots every day. And Mark and I modified some of the VFX shots, came in to tweak them close to what we wanted or what Mark wanted. So we're getting there. We're also working on the Twilight Zone minutes. which is why I'm looking off screen now. I'm working on those right now, and these really interesting little tidbits about what's the show called again? I forgot the name of the show. Anyway, so Mark's been posting those, and we'll keep posting those. We'll have a bunch more for Adam. Yeah, Adam, I don't know the name either. So anyway, so just keeping busy, and sleep is for wimps. So,
okay.
Anyway, that's about it, I suppose.
Great. Okay. Yay! Thanks, Dave. And your transmission's a little distorted, so just be aware of that. So.
I have no idea why. I tried a mic; it didn't work any better.
Okay, that's fine. So, but it's good. It's good to see you as always. So, so Adam, do you have another question?
No, but I will say for Dave Edison, headphones will help with that issue you're having.
Yeah, well,
with the feedback part anyway.
With the feedback part anyway.
Well, I tried it. I'll chime in a little bit later with some headphones on.
Okay, great.
That's good.
Thanks. Yes. So
Scott Baker supposedly has a question, but
Sure.
I can't find it.
Okay. One thing I wanted to mention is with Dune coming out next month, Denis Villeneuve's, I've just posted an extremely detailed video about the history of the various Dune adaptations, and it also includes a link to as complete a version of David Lynch's Dune as you're going to see in the near future. So it's really worth checking out on Mr. Sci-Fi. So Carol, do you want to check in?
Hi, everybody. Elaine, I hope your chin is feeling better.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, thank you.
Oh, good. And Lashana Tova Tichapelu V'Tichapelu. What is she talking about? That for my non-Jewish brothers and sisters, that means may you be inscribed in the book of life and may it be closed.
Mm-hmm. Great.
And glad I'm not singing the Avinu Malkeinu because I drive you nuts.
Yes, and also if we're into Jewish sayings, my great grandmother used to say, "You can't ride two horses with one tuchus."
I was about to say that.
Yes. But I still keep trying, I'll tell you. So okay, but go ahead.
I have a feeling you'll be able to accomplish that.
You got a pack of horses.
What?
Okay.
I said Mark has a pack of horses. It's not just two.
No,
Yes.
I'm sure.
Yes.
Well, written not on.
I am reading this. It's driving me crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, this poor man was like really psychotic. He has a thing about chopping up people and putting them in walls.
Well, yeah, but we all do, So yes.
We have different pastimes.
Actually, if you want to know who's an aficionado and who's not, just say to someone, "For the love of God, Montresor," and if they know Poe, they'll know what that's quoting. And that's Cask of Amontillado. So
I read that in the 10th grade. It's in there though. I'm
Yeah.
reading it again.
Yeah, he was.
A raven isn't in this book. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's odd. But another interesting trivia question about Edgar Allan Poe, or trivia fact, is Edgar Allan Poe invented the modern detective story. He was the first one to do it with a consulting detective, and if you ever read the first book of Sherlock Holmes, Holmes as a character comments on Poe's detective in his stuff. So but yeah, so so Poe wasn't just the horror guy. He wrote in a lot of different genres. Okay, come on, Rudy. Come on.
I hope Sweet Haven is still having some vitality. I was thinking about it today.
Yes.
Yeah, we're Mark and I are spending like the mornings going over sales approaches. So we're eager to do it, and it should be shot. Marcus and I needed to shoot it in a very interesting, economical way with iPhones. We'll see if that works or not. But the thing is to have it be lean and mean and really just stick to the character. So.
Oh, good luck, because it was
thanks.
really fun to do.
Oh, thanks.
Oh yeah, it was. I liked it. I liked having the accent better. I mean, when it went from Hilma to Wendy, I went, well, I Miss Hilma. But who am I? Okay. That after I left the manager, this other woman came in who was a manager. I won't say her name. who was a manager. Now she's a producer and she's real interested in me. But for a month, she doesn't call me back.
Huh.
So yesterday, she sends me an email. Carol, I'm really busy writing everybody who has a hand in this, writing my screenplay. So I'm trying to call so-and-so for you. I can't live like that. So I wrote her back, thank you. Call me when you can, but I have no energy on it anymore. After sharing it in here, Mark sort of said, let her go. So I don't understand. What is with these people? Do they want to make money or not? I don't get it.
I don't know. It's there aren't many really good representatives. There just aren't.
Not. But I'm kind of spoiled because my acting agents were really right on the nose.
Huh.
I used to walk into talent group and they go, Carol, come here, you're gonna audition. I mean, really. They were on the always the vitality was through the roof there, and I mean, and in New York. I mean, so I'm just a little. I'm shocked, but I think the upshot is there aren't great representatives or managers or agents for literary. There aren't.
There used to be a lot more. There was like a very specific mindset to people who wanted to find the talent and sell the talent, but now it's gotten like very murky. Like, oh, I'm going to go join an agency and. I'll let the the person who's doing who's coming in with the script do 99% of their own work, and I'll just swoop in at the end and collect my fees. And it's unfortunate, but there aren't many people who have the hunger or the desire to develop talent and develop story. They're just there. They're very lazy and self-involved, but there used to be that breed, and we have it in our head that they still exist. But very few exist. Then it used to be managers, but they're very rare. They're rare as hen's teeth. They're just sort of like they're picking up a little extra money with.
I don't know how they live. I mean, I don't know how they're buying their sandwiches. I mean, I have no idea because I don't know. So I can complain forever, but I'll try not to. I'm very available for table reads. Any of y'all? Also, I've been watching a lot of horror films and reading a lot of horror because I think I want to scribe a little. I want to play with this. And what I realized was you can't worry about being awful. You have to be as bloody and dirty as possible, which that's not really my wheelhouse, but I know how to grab it. I think I can grab it. But isn't that right? I mean, you just have to be unscrupulous and just go for it.
Well, there's a huge range of what horror is. Going from the gory to going to the creepy and imaginative, and so some of it is like whatever makes you wherever you would like to play is good, but there are some really higher end, horror pieces where it's very artful and very scary and there isn't much gore, but you get a lot of jumps, but it goes all the way down to nothing but gore. The main challenge you have is that there's so much of it because people condescend to it and consider it very easy. Is that there's a bit of a glut.
I see what you're saying.
So there's a lot.
So I'd like to expand my web there a little bit, though.
But if you think of something that would be fresh, in horror.
Yeah, I have a really cool outline.
That's great. That's great because people love anything that's fresh. A fresh turn on an old, on an old cliche. People just
love you to direct it.
Thank you.
I swear. My God, why didn't I? Wow. Okay, I'll share it with you when it's down the road a little bit.
Okay, great. Okay. Is there anything else you need today?
I think that's it for today.
Okay, yay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Adam, we'll hold off on Mr. Sci-Fi because my dog was
right. I will say, Carol, I have a theory about how agents and managers make money these days, and that's they cast a very wide net, and they do the shotgun approach. You're bound to hit something if you sign like 1,000 people, and one of them's gonna do well, and then you get you collect your 10% from that.
Right. I think you're right. I don't know. I couldn't live like that, but I think you're right.
Yeah. That's what I've. It's hard to say, but because I barely from my agent. Like this one audition was the first audition I've gotten in like almost over a year. So
wow.
COVID, but still. Of course, it's like once or twice every other month, even before COVID. So,
Yeah, I mean, I found with one of my agents that I was much more comfortable on the phone than they were.
yeah.
And, you know, and one agent said, you know, that was talking about taking us on was a while back, was saying, well, you know, what you're doing is different. They don't ask for that. They ask for something. I give them what they want. And we had like a unique project. And I said, wait a minute, if I was in a restaurant and there was a brand new dish that was amazing that I didn't know about, I would be really angry at my waiter if he didn't say, would you like a taste of this? Or may I recommend this? If like it was just what I wanted. If I didn't know it existed, how could I want it?
Right.
That was the attitude that this particular agent had. You know, they ask for it. I don't introduce something new and exciting. So, you know, I thought you're just like brain death. So anyway, we can complain, but the main thing is to find someone and work with them, and just assume, or else you'll eat yourself up. Assume that you're going to do 90% of the work.
Right.
And so I developed a lot of systems for working with people when I had an agent, which was I would hustle, and I had a file having to do with when a date would come up when we were supposed to check back. And I would write in on every Monday and say, I understand we're supposed to check back with this person, and this person. Would you like me to follow up, or would you like to follow up? And so I kept records that they didn't keep. And every Monday I would send this email and say, what would you like? Should I? And then they'd be kind of shamed into being the one who followed up. Because if they didn't follow up quickly, I'd say, oh, you know, I wondered if you follow up. If not, I'll get on the phone right away. You know.
It's no different than the stereotype of the 1940s manager. Yeah. They have all their people and shuttle them to all the studios. Yeah.
Yeah. It would be, you know, an interesting thing if we got a Martian or something, you know, and you breed. So, anything else?
I think you might be able to answer this one, Elaine.
Okay.
From Arkansas Big Dog Hensley. I think now I'm assuming he's referring to a script idea. But he says, I have an idea for a hermit that lives in the Ozark Hills and only comes to town once a month. So,
yes.
Again, I'm assuming. But what do you think?
Well, I think offbeat characters can be extremely interesting, but not if you just make them up. Because
he does say it's based on his own life.
Well, if it's based on his own life, like there's a new show out called Rust, American Rust. Mark, is it American Rust?
Yes.
Yeah, American Rust. And there's a feeling of that. It's in this small town with Jeff Daniels, and there's just a feeling that these are people that they know. They're that the writers know, that the actors know. It feels very real, and it's very moving because it feels just there's a lot of respect for the people without glamorizing, but there's a sense of them going through the struggles. It's like an internal view, and it's a lovely show. But I don't know how many shows I've seen of certain kinds of people where it's been patronizing, condescending, pushing them into being very artificial representations of stereotypes. And that is just, for me personally, just endlessly frustrating. But if you're showing a fresh view of the way people see the world, because they live in they come at it from a different angle, but it's still people where we really recognize their core emotions, I think that could be a lovely piece.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, Mr. Bartlett, would you like a turn? Mr. Lavender?
Sure. I'm David Bartlett. I'm a filmmaker, a human rights activist, and a thrill seeker. No, that's not a thrill seeker. I am a thrill seeker. I'm also a producer on Space Command.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say I'm a teacher. I'm a little tired, so forgive me if I fumble around a bit. So I was going to can you hang on for a second? Yeah. I'm totally
You can't start.
the table Zoom right now.
Sorry.
I'm wrapping up the studio right now. I'm at the studio preparing for a shoot on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Elaine's come up with some interesting shots to add more zest and vim and vigor to Space Command, and that's what we'll be doing on Sunday.
Great.
So I have a background in filmmaking that goes back to when I was 10. I saw the Battleship Potemkin and Lon Chaney's Phantom of the Opera on TV, and I said, I want to do that. So since then, I've been working towards doing that. In fact, Potemkin was part of what inspired Elaine to these shots that are happening Sundays. So I kind of full circle a little bit there, a tiny bit. This weekend was exciting for me. So I moved to LA in 1980 and started making films right away. I was interning on some very big films, and I was working on some low-budget films as a set carpenter with James Cameron, who was a production designer. And I also was working a little bit with Allan, who was an associate producer at the time. So I got a lot of people that I worked with that were very good at a young age that I learned from, and also got some great mentors. Like I took a class from Warren Beatty, and I took a class from Nicholas Meyer, and I took a class from Jacqueline Bissett. I mean, I had all kinds of classes. These are all at the Sherwood Oaks Experimental College with our great friend, who's now passed away, Gary Shusett, who helped me out quite a bit. I helped repair his projectors, and he gave me some classes. So it was a great experience for me. So I started working as a volunteer on film school sets for free, and I was then becoming an associate producer, then a producer through them. So without ever attending to any of the schools or paying any tuitions, I went to AFI and USC and UCLA and Northridge University and quite a few others, and had a great film school that way. And I was able to work with students that could afford crews and equipment and had the insurance and everything else that I could never have done on my own at that time. So I had sort of found my way into my career working on giant movies and on very tiny movies back and forth. So I started working, renting an editing room for a short that I was doing in 35 millimeter next to some people that were doing some very big shows. And one of them was The Karate Kid, and the other was a film called Space, a TV series called Space. Mini-series, they were called in those days, by Dick Berg. And one of the stars of that series was Beau Bridges. So cut to last weekend, I am now up for 2 awards with 2 different films at the Burbank Film Festival, which I was also a judge at. And I got to sit with Priscilla Presley, who's in one of the films I worked on. And she asked me if I would walk her up to the stage and make sure she was safe and everything, which we did. And then she ended up announcing our award to be won, which was fun. For Rekindling Christmas, we won Best Faith-Based Feature Film at the Burbank Film Festival. So the other people that were there that were getting a special family award were the Bridges family. So there was Beau Bridges, and I got to meet Beau Bridges and say, my very first paid job in Hollywood was on Space, and I got an Emmy nomination for that, and I want to thank you for that, doing that show, because he was great in that show. So I had a lot of fun being able to come full circle with him on that too. So those are kinds of my stories for the week, and those are hot off the press stories.
Great.
So let's see, Space Command brings you the opportunity to help build sets, paint sets, sand sets. We're literally having sand on our set on Sundays, so you can sand. That'd be interesting. And you can come and help out this weekend into next week, the week after that. I'm constantly building new sets. We're shooting new scenes. We've got scenes coming up every couple of weeks or 3 weeks for the framing story. Framing story is those scenes that happen on some TV shows where they have some scenes at the beginning and the ending of the episode, kind of like a bookend. And we're shooting some of those scenes coming up. And then in the spring, we're going to be shooting a very large section, about 50 pages of what Elaine calls the haunted house, which is an alien spaceship, which is very haunted and has all sorts of moving parts to it, including 2 actors in alien costumes that are made of giant foam rubber suits with hand and arm extensions and gnashing of teeth, as they say in Where the Wild Things Are. And there's all sorts of actors running around and laser blasts and karate fights, and it's just got something for everyone, this scene. Believe me, because I'm making the budgets. So that's all happening as well. If you want to volunteer, you're welcome to come down. If you want a paid job, I've got some of those. Don't get too excited about that, but there is some money. And we are able to continue Space Command with the help of folks like yourself. So just contact me. You can contact me at davefilms, DAVEFILMS @hotmail.com. And with email, and then let me know that you're interested in doing this. I can get back to you about that. I'm particularly fond of having people that want to move up in their careers or laterally into a different career field and don't quite know how to do that. I love helping people do that because I've done that all of my career, actually. So I've done every job on the film set once at least, except for hair. So don't let me cut your hair. But besides that, I'm good to go. And the generator with those plugs to go in, with the different colors, that's really not my job either. But besides that, I'm good.
Okay.
And,
Dave.
What?
These people who might want to join the Space Command team down at the studio, do they need to be vaccinated?
No, but we have COVID stations
Vaccinated.
that check folks for their temperatures and whatnot. I am a COVID compliant certified person, and I can do that. And we wear masks as well. Okay, what do you want to say, Dave? Go ahead. What do you want to say?
Well, just to confirm, so Sunday, some of the people who are volunteering or joining us don't have to be vaccinated.
Well, we're not checking for vaccinated people. That's what I'm saying.
Well, though we encourage people to get vaccinated, and Elaine and I definitely are, and most of our team is. So yeah,
we'll maintain distance and get masks on.
Our teams are very small. I already know who's all's coming, so I don't even have an issue for that. So if someone new wanted to come down and they weren't vaccinated, I would definitely test you first to make sure that your temperature is okay. But obviously, you can't do a full COVID testing or anything like that.
Okay, great. So anything else, David?
So then we have the table email. I'm also in charge of the table email. So if you want to be on the table email and you're not, or if you're having troubles with your table email, you can email me at my address, which I just said. I'll put it in the chat here too. And let me know if you want to get on or if you are having troubles. And I can sort out both of those. But it doesn't take any effort at all, and you're on, no problem. Like Mark and Elaine have said, I'm sure in this, if not others, there's no fees, there's no joining fees, there's no lists anywhere, there's no contact list. It's just us, and we just do this. And it's all volunteer on our end. So that's it, basically.
Great. Okay, 3 cheers. Yay. So, Adam, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes. Our next question is from Kevin Scott 76.
Hi, Kevin.
And he wants to know what is the worst sci-fi movie you've ever seen?
Wow, I never saw all of Battlefield Earth, but it wasn't great. Let me think. What's the worst? There's so many candidates. I mean, it depends on if you mean cheesy. Plan 9 from Outer Space is pretty bad. The better question is, what terrible science fiction movies do I love? One of those would be Creation of the Humanoids, which is one of my favorites. And though some people might find it extremely peculiar. So, but yeah, there's a ton of really. See, the tricky thing is there's entertainingly bad, and then there's like bad movies that are just bad and they're not worth watching. And so I avoid the ones that are just boring and badly made. But the ones that have style, even if it's a misguided style, have a lot to recommend them. So it's very, very fun. So okay, cool. So Michelle Hart, how about you?
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi.
It's been busy and amazingly profitable. I've been doing background work on some really big pictures, including something which is running under the fake name of Wild Chicken, which has nothing to do with it whatsoever.
Huh.
The good part of this is that the good part of it is that I'm working and it's a SAG job. But the other good part of it is that we have been shooting downtown. And I have now been on the inside of 4 of the magnificent Broadway theaters downtown.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I have been in to Los Angeles, the Ace, which was originally the United Artists, built by Mary Pickford and Richard, all those people, the Palace, and the Orpheum. And the Los Angeles, I was downstairs where there used to be a ballroom and a couple of restaurants and a bathroom that looks like Buckingham Palace.
Wow.
It's been really interesting. So that's what I've been doing, which is why I haven't been volunteering for Dave for Space Command. It's very careful in some ways with COVID and very strange in other ways.
Hmm.
Careful in the sense that, yay, we have to be vaccinated. they not only ask you for when the dates were that you were vaccinated, what kind of stuff you were vaccinated with, and what the code numbers were that they put on your little card for your vaccination. So they're very specific about it. You get COVID tested every day. And that's the good part. The weird part is that we are sitting in a theater. The part of it is that we are supposed to be watching something. We are sitting all right next to each other as if we were in a fully sold out theater.
Wow.
And standing up and cheering, which of course is done without masks on. So in all those things where people are singing in choirs, I have a friend who has a Christmas caroling company. They sing with masks on. We were standing up, several hundred of us, yelling and screaming and cheering without masks.
Wow.
So let's just really hope that that COVID vaccine works.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Hey, Michelle, I was a side note. I was a projectionist in Los Angeles and the Orpheum Theater both in the 80s before they were remodeled. The Los Angeles Theater, if you guys ever get a chance to see anything there, it's an absolute masterpiece. It's incredible. But it was amazing for me to work in those theaters, even in the state that they were in. And I was in a concert in the theater downtown last night, and everyone was in there with no mask, but every single person had to be vaccinated, tested at the door with a code on they have a QRC code, and your vaccines can be scanned to them so they can see it right there, which is required. So everybody in the place had 2 shots. So there is that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was not particularly worried about it. I just found it really strange to suddenly be doing that.
Yes.
And were apparently tiling so that they would take bunches of us and put us all, for those of you who've never heard of this, they take bunches of us and put us all in one end of the balcony and photograph that, and it looks like that end of the theater is full. Then we go down and we all sit on the left side of the orchestra, and that looks like it's full. And everybody is told to change partners so that it's not always this person sitting next to that person. The good part of it was, as I say that, the other part of it is, and I don't know if you guys can see this, but that's Michelle looking like 1930s.
That's fun.
Wow.
That's fun.
That's great.
And,
That's great.
I'm not supposed to have taken that picture, and you haven't seen it.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine.
It was not the most becoming stuff. Some of the ladies got exquisite satin gowns, a la 1930s, Jean Harlow looking stuff that you could, and it was all real, which that a lot of things were tearing as people were wearing them. And they were sewing folks into things, including one gentleman whose inseam split wide open, which gave us the extraordinary view of the wardrobe lady crawling around on her knees, sticking his inseam back together while he was wearing it.
Wow.
We all threatened to take pictures and tell his wife.
Yes, this is the glamour of Hollywood. So yeah, absolutely. So great. So anything you need, Michelle? Any questions? Any requests?
I am still looking for somebody to rent a room and bath in my apartment.
Okay.
Which is very close to Sony and Fox Disney, depending on your attitude, and the Culver City Studios and UCLA and all those things, and is right on a line with Coldwater Canyon, which is how and Beverly Glen Canyon, which is how I used to get to Marie Callender's when we were doing that. So getting to the valley is real easy.
Wow, cool.
The only thing is the one person, somebody from this group was interested and then bugged out because I have 2 cats and he's allergic. So recommend to somebody who's not allergic to 2 cats.
Yes. Well, great. Okay. Well, 3 cheers. Yay. So, so another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam.
Yes. And yeah, Michelle, I would have too, but I'm allergic to cats myself. So.
Yeah. Well,
and I have a really nice deal with my roommates. So.
Well, actually, Adam, don't worry about that.
Anytime soon.
Cats cancel each other's out.
Oh yeah,
okay. Well,
yeah.
2 of them. Yeah, there we go.
Well, yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
So,
actually, I was for many years allergic to cats, and my son found a stray that someone had put out on the street, and I literally said, I will be willing to take antihistamine for a couple of weeks and see if I can build a tolerance to this. And cannot, then cat goes bye-bye. And after a week, I was off the antihistamine, and I've never been allergic to cats since then.
Great.
Wow.
Great. That's great.
All right. So our question, so that he doesn't yell at me anymore. Scott Baker wants to know. He says, I will soon visit a world-renowned sandwich deli, and I've only had 3 sandwiches from a traditional serious deli in my life. What should I order?
Well, pastrami on rye with mustard is usually pretty damn good. Heated.
Swiss cheese.
You can't go wrong with that. Well, you could have Swiss cheese on it, but that's up to you. Beyond that, I mean, if it's a good deli, almost anything they make will be good. There's a deli that we go to quite often called Factor's Deli on Pico, and it's really, really good, particularly their breakfasts. Yes. Their breakfasts are great. So, yeah, but pastrami would be my initial go-to for that. So, so Judith, I see the top of your head. So do you want to take your turn? When you unmute? Oh, you have to unmute.
Yeah, don't forget to unmute.
Jesus.
A Reuben is very good.
Good, yeah, yes, true.
Okay, that has all of the good stuff. Well, I'm Judith Smiley. Everybody knows me. The good news is I'm getting better very quickly. I just went to the doctor today, and I won't have to see them again for another 3 months. They said it would take me 6 months to get on a cane. They prescribed one for me. I'm picking it up this week to start training. So I've cut the time in half. I did my bio, and David Bartlett is very kind. I'm a little hoarse because I've been talking all day. What else is new? David Bartlett's very kindly going to help me with that. I'm going to get a haircut to take a picture because the producers of the film want it. And they're going to be really getting it out, so that's exciting. I'm starting to write again, which I have not been able to do. So everything is starting to come back again. I didn't think that would ever happen, but thank God it has. That's all I have to report. I'm just moving forward. It's been a hell of a 6 months. But I'm getting it back. Like if you have heard my voice this morning, it almost sounded. Is that one of my guys?
No. Oh, yes, the dog. Yes, it is.
Hi, Patrick.
Great. Yeah, Rudy is here. There you go.
If you heard me this morning, I almost sounded like my old self. So that's coming back very quickly. And that's it. Just a lot of good stuff.
Great.
One by one. The house is almost done. And I have a nice lady from Egypt who drives me around. And that's it.
Well, great.
That's it. Good stuff.
And
good stuff
when
for a
will
change.
When will you see footage from your horror film?
Whenever it's edited, I'm telling you, I look like, I have to send you the picture. I look like the cutest corpse in the graveyard.
That's great.
Susan took an hour and a half for the makeup, and then at the end, maggots are falling from my eyes.
Oh my God.
Maggots are falling from my eyes.
Yeah, wow. That's great.
It was a lot of fun. It was just so much fun. And they tell me that I better hurry up and get everything together because they said there's going to be a lot more work coming down the pike.
Wow.
From your mouth to God's ears.
Yeah, that's great. Well, congratulations. Yay.
Thank you. It's nice to report some good stuff for a change.
Yes. So, you bet. Good to see you, Judith, as always.
Allan, happy conjunctive to everybody.
Yes, absolutely. So great. So, Adam, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes, there is. And let's see, it's from Juan Suros.
I won.
He says, wanted to ask your opinion on sci-fi visual metaphors, such as Spock watching Vulcan implode in the sky, people observing Starkiller Base kill a planet from the surface instead of a ship, etc. Are you for or against them?
Well, when you say metaphors, I'm not quite sure what you mean. I mean, the basic question with any visual is, does it work? Obviously, Vulcan blowing up and, the Death Star destroying things. I mean, the question always is one of focus. If you don't want to feel strongly about it as a viewer, then you're far back and you just see it blow up. If you want to care about it, then characters that you've come to care about, if you're close to them as they die, like Spock's mom, then it has more of an emotional impact on you. So it's really about what's the effect you want it to have. For instance, obviously Han Solo getting killed by his son has more impact than people you've never known. All of a sudden, you just hear that they're gone. So so that's my thought on all that. Now, I see Mark Gushowitz is here, and so Mark, if you want to jump in and do your vocal stylings, that'd be great.
Hi, how you doing? So it's been kind of hectic for me. The editing jobs are pouring on. It's like a rainstorm for me right now.
Good.
Which is really good, except for I can't get my website done. I've been trying to figure out a way to schedule it so that doesn't get put on hold. And so I rescheduled my day because I realized, I don't know if other people feel this way, that when I put in a full day's work on a paid gig, I go home, I really don't feel like working. And so now I've decided I'm trying to get to bed a little bit earlier so I can actually get up early in the morning and work on my own stuff before I go and do the paid gigs. Because the paid gigs can get a little bit more exhausting, and they can also, clients can kind of be a little bit of a pain in the neck. And when you leave, it's kind of like, I want to go watch a movie. I don't want to write about one. So I used to go to bed at 2 a.m. I'm trying to get to sleep by 12 now, so I can be up by 8 and get a couple hours in before I have to work.
Good.
And it's worked a little bit, but yeah, I'm really struggling with this whole scheduling thing between the paid gigs and my own personal stuff.
Is there any?
But I'll figure it out.
Mark, is there any way to do alternate days?
That's hard.
Because with clients you have deadlines.
Yeah.
So like what happened last week is I was writing a review. I'm trying to get this review for a movie called Fearless up, and it's almost done. So I should have it up either tomorrow or Saturday, finally. What ends up happening is the client comes in and then they set a deadline, and literally they're on you every second of that time. And it not only works on you physically, so when you're done, you kind of just want to sit down, but mentally as well. Because the client that I have right now, who's, pretty regular, a lot of the stuff gets done last minute. And so we had a project that was due last Friday, and we literally were working on it over the phone till 2 a.m. on Thursday to then put the project together, and it didn't get up until 11 o'clock in the evening on Friday, which was close because it needed to be up by, I guess, midnight to where it was going. So, and then, other projects coming. And the problem is because of the nature of the business we're in, is you can't turn down something when it comes along, because after you're finished with something, you don't know how long it is until the next thing comes along.
So one thing I would say in that regard is it's a very good idea to set time for your own work before your work day on other people's stuff, because you don't want to come home exhausted and then have to put in a few hours on your creative work. So although it might initially be difficult to adjust to that schedule, it's a good idea. And if you just do it for 6 weeks or whatever, your body will readjust to that time frame. So
that's what I said I was doing now, because generally I would stay up to 2, 3 in the morning working on stuff. But now I've decided to go to bed earlier and get up earlier. So now I'm finding myself being able to fall asleep around midnight. My goal is to eventually be able to be asleep by 10:30, so I can be up at 6 and get a good solid 4 hours in before I start working on other people's stuff. So I generally don't start working on other people's stuff till 10.
Yes, that sounds great.
So it's just my body has to adjust, and I figure once my body gets to that adjustment period, I'll be able to move forward a little bit more. Also, just getting up in the morning, I look over at the clock and it's not used to seeing 8 o'clock. Okay, time to get up, or 6 o'clock. So we're working on that, because I found that it wasn't working the other way. My website, the work going on in my website was taking too long, and I want to be able to get that to become a weekly thing as opposed to a bi-weekly thing.
Yes.
And I also, I recorded these podcast episodes a while back, and I really want to start getting those out as well. But unfortunately, the government says you got to pay your bills, so I got to work the paid gigs. And then, of course, David Bartlett just came to me to work on some stuff for Space Command. So that'll add to it. But I'm actually looking forward to that because it's behind the scenes stuff, which I haven't done in a while. I used to do behind the scenes for a living about 20 years ago. And so it's going to be kind of cool to get to that. Plus, I also like I like working on behind the scenes stuff because I like seeing the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, it's fun.
Listening to people talk about how it works. And so as soon as footage starts coming in for that, I'm going to start working on that. But I'm really looking forward to that.
Great.
And I'm really happy that all the work's coming in because up until 4 or 5 months ago, it was kind of like, oh my God, how are we going to pay our bills? How are we going to do this? How are we do that? Now it's raining, and you got to be thankful when that happens.
Yes.
So I should be starting to hear back from festivals about my short film. So I keep my fingers crossed about that. I was supposed to hear back yesterday from a festival, but they seem, according to Film Freeway, they pushed back their notification date. So it'll be another week. But those should start coming up. Looking forward to hearing about that. Looking forward to maybe going to some festivals with it.
Great.
And yeah, that's my life. For people who want to visit my website, it's underexposedcinematictreasures.com, where I recommend. I review, but I'd like to consider it more of a recommendation. Underseen, unseen, misunderstood, and movies that deserve to be revisited.
Great. Anything else? Anything else you need?
No, I think that's about it for right now.
Okay, yay, Mark Gushowitz, ladies and gentlemen. So,
You always make me feel good because you give me a great intro, you give me a great outro, and I'm waiting for the day when we all meet again, because the best part of these meetings, when we meet in person, is everybody applauds afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like after you've had a bad day or a long day, to hear everybody applauding you.
Yes.
So much fun.
Yeah, that's great. And Lori, did you have a question?
Just want to say thank you for the time. And usually I have a 7 p.m. meeting tonight, so I got to get into the traffic to get there. Thank you, Mark.
You bet.
Check out your underexposedtreasures.com. And thank you, guys. I'm going to sign out early.
Okay, take care.
Cinematic Treasure.
Underexposed Cinematic
Treasures.com.
Great.
I'm glad I said it.
Okay.
Cool.
Great.
You.
Terrific. So, Adam, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes. And I think because apparently that was not the Scott Baker question. There is a new Scott Baker question.
Okay, sure.
And this is the Scott Baker question.
Great.
I hope so.
Okay.
Which is a pet peeve. He says, a pet peeve of mine that when starships are constructed, do they just load up the control panels with spark-laden explosive before or after they're connected to ship systems?
Yes, it's very, very funny. I agree. But I'll tell you, when you're on a set with pyrotechnics, it's pretty amazing. It really is remarkable when they're real and not just added in post. But we did that on the Star Trek episode with Christina Moses and George Takei, and it was quite an experience to be there. So, yeah, it's pretty ridiculous, particularly when you look at the TV shows of the '60s, Star Trek and Voyage of the Bottom of the Sea and so forth. It's they seem to have.
Everything catches on fire.
Yeah, where's OSHA, for God's sake? So it's.
My dad used to design cars, and he was an engineer of cars and things, and he always watched TV shows. He would complain that they always blow up instantly.
Yes.
There was one car in particular that launched off the side of a road and was falling through the air, and it blew up in the air.
Yes. Yeah, that's.
I think it's one of Joe Dougherty's favorites is in Bullet, where a San Francisco streetcar bursts into flames.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorites of that. One of my favorites in that regard was there was a James Bond movie where they're in the middle of nowhere and they're in this like luxury hotel, and the guy who's built the hotel says, and just to let you know, this is a hydrogen powered hotel. And I thought, that hotel's going to blow up. You know, there's like no two ways about it. You know, so that's pretty fun. So so great. Yes. So now let me see. So I guess it's your turn, Elaine, right?
Yeah, sure.
Wow, look at that.
Oh, okay.
Go for it, Elaine. Go for it.
Yeah, it's just extremely busy between juggling, trying to juggle resources to get other films going. But right now, I'm focused on the Sunday shoot and torturing Dave Edison because it's an editing nightmare. But basically, it's a scene where it's inserts. And so I spent a lot of time just getting that off because it's a Persian carpet of dailies and the scene as written and what we're going to be shooting on Sunday. But it should be fun. It's a lean, mean machine, right, Mr. David?
Yes.
There is no question about the lean and the mean machine.
Yes.
Do you guys like a sneak of the new breather?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds good.
Very preliminary. I just got a couple of parts for it today. We have this is the mask part.
Cool.
Oh, wow, that's really
Great.
cool. That's
And it's going
great.
to have this attached to it.
Oh,
Well, there you
wow,
go.
That's great.
That's fun. Sure.
A little rubble.
Terrific.
And then a little baby version.
Great. Cool.
We only have one actor on set and her baby whom we purchased at Target
Yes.
and handed over to Mr. Dave to dress
Yeah.
and to present. There
Yep.
she is.
There it
Yes,
is.
there it
Yeah.
is. There's the baby.
Yeah.
This is sweet too, see?
Yeah. It's
Yes. Yeah.
Yipes.
Which is now a prop in our prop house.
Mhm.
A baby where we don't have to hire anybody to teach and watch over
Nope.
Right.
the
No
baby.
teacher, no mom, nothing.
Yes,
Right, yes.
So we're good. So that's it for me. Just
Okay.
just doing a lot of tech, a lot of outreach, which is not as much fun as other things, but I always look forward to a shoot. So we got a small fun crew coming.
Yes, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
So great. Well, 3 cheers, Elaine. Yay. So is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam?
Yeah, I think I can scrounge up one more
Okay.
here from
Okay.
Mark Lungo.
I'm Mark.
He asks, have you ever tried to use licensed music for any of your projects, and how did it go?
Wow. I don't think we've used licensed music on the projects I've done independently because it can be such a, expensive pursuit. I have used licensed music on shows I've been on, but then I didn't have to negotiate those rights. So I was okay. It's interesting because when you post stuff on YouTube, they'll usually get you if you use music. So if you use a clip from a TV show or movie, that's often why they shut you down. But it's not something
I worked on a documentary called Scratch, which was about hip hop music.
Yes.
And it had 98 cues in it that had to be licensed.
Wow.
And the producer spent his entire time while we were mixing getting them licensed.
Mm.
And he got them all but 2, and one of them was a Billy Joel song, and one of them was the Led Zeppelin song they allowed, another one was some other song. There was a very funny story about that. There was this French DJ that had one of the cuts.
Mm-hmm.
So he called France and he got the guy's lawyer because the guy's a recluse and he wouldn't talk to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So the DJ is like DJ Francois, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this guy's another guy. He says, no, DJ Francois is a very reclusive. He does not talk to anyone. So I will do all the negotiation. He said, okay, so when I have this cue, when I have this much money, he said, well, we'll see. Okay, well, I'll ask him. So next day he calls back and he said, I spoke to DJ Francois and he said that is not enough money, but he would do it if you would do this instead. And as they negotiated again, he said, okay, well, let me figure that out and I'll get back to you. The next day he calls back again. And he says, okay, we said, we'll do it for the money. We'll agree to this. And he says, now, can I ask you a question? And the lawyer says, may we, of course. And he says, are you DJ Francois? And there's this big pause. And he says, you Americans are very clever.
That's funny. That's funny.
It can also be fun to license music.
Great, that's funny. That's great. So so cool. So I guess it's my turn. So me, wonderful me. Well, I'm wearing my Obi-Wan Kenobi shirt that I drew when I was in art school when I was 21 years old or so. So that's me with my Alec Guinness shirt. And gosh, a lot's going on. It's incredibly busy. We're working on finishing the visual effects on the second hour of Space Command. And so every department in post is busy right now doing all sorts of stuff. And we have visual effects being done on the third hour now. We've shot some of the of the fourth hour, and we're continuing, as Elaine said, we're shooting, and David said we're shooting more. I sent off the new book, the finished version of the new book, Greenlighting Yourself, to my publisher, so that'll be out at the top of the year in bookstores and on Amazon, and that's great. I look forward to it very much. And gosh, we're working on selling the Showrunners Network, the slate of 6 shows that we're doing. Been talking to Amazon, talking to Netflix. It just keeps going. And what else are we doing, Elaine? It's just crazy. I mean, well, also the Twilight Zone, to raise about $100,000 or more. We're going to be launching a Kickstarter campaign where I'll be doing the 104 episode commentaries of the Twilight Zone that I did not do when I produced the Blu-ray of the Twilight Zone. I did 52 episodes on that. So I started. We started up a website called TwilightZoneCommentaries.com where you can sign up so that when those are available, we're going to do an app where you can actually, for a very small amount of money, you can go when you're watching the Twilight Zone, you turn off the sound on your TV and you punch in this app and you can listen to my commentary on the entire episode. And so to help get people to check out TwilightZoneCommentaries.com, I've started doing something called the Twilight Zone Minute, where I'm going to talk about each episode for a minute just on Mr. Sci-Fi, so people can see what a wealth of knowledge I have on this subject. It's, for those of you who don't know, I'm the author of the Twilight Zone Companion, and know more about Twilight Zone probably than anybody who's still around. And it's really amazing how much of it I have just in my head. So like I've been doing, like I sent Dave 5 of those Twilight Zone minutes today on 5 different episodes, and I didn't look into a book or anything. I just kind of turned the camera on and talked. So I could do that with all 156 episodes. That's not that wouldn't be daunting for me. So beyond that, I guess we're working on perks. We're working on a whole hell of a lot of stuff. So it just keeps going. But life is certainly exciting, and can't wait to shoot more of Space Command and all the other stuff we're shooting. So that's about it for now. So but definitely check out my commentary on Dune on Mr. Sci-Fi. I really researched that one to go into Jodorowsky and David Lynch and Denis Villeneuve and Frank Herbert and all of that stuff. And it's a very interesting story when you really dig down into it. And
I will point out there were a lot of compliments in the comments about that.
Oh, cool. That's great. Yeah. Well, it's fun because, I was sort of there at the ground floor. Jodorowsky, when he was trying to shoot Dune, he brought together an art team that was no one had ever brought together as amazing an art design team as he had. It was H.R. Giger and Chris Foss and on, and Mobius. And even though that film never got made, that team went over to Alien. They were part of Fifth Element. They were part of Total Recall. They were part of, it's like it had a ripple effect. And I knew Ron Cobb at that point, just before Alien sold and just as he was about to go work on Dune with Dan O'Bannon in Paris. And so so I was sort of like a fly on the wall for a lot of that stuff. And so it was really fun to talk about it. So great. So I guess I think we've come to the end of our journey. Yes, Michelle. Oh, we unmute.
What is it that Elaine is shooting? Which project?
Space Command.
It's just Space Command. There was a
Space Command. Okay.
Yeah, it's just adding a detail to one of the sequences. But we are pursuing the Unreal Engine grant to see if we can get the money to make Ashes, Elaine's science fiction film. We have a production designer working on it now. We have our development person in London pursuing that objective. We're moving forward on many fronts, and it's exciting. I mean, definitely our days are not we're not passive. Yeah, exactly. There's always stuff to do. There's always stuff to do. So so I guess that's about it for now. We'll be talking very soon. We'll see you next week, and stay safe, stay well, and we'll talk next time. Bye, guys.
Good luck on Sunday.
Thank
I
you.
wish I could be there with you.
Ne-
Unfortunately, well, I'm
Next
here.
time. Next time. Okay. Take care. Bye, guys. And bye, Mr. Sci-Fi fans. Talk to you soon. Bye. Take care. Okay.